Hey guys, welcome back to the Homestead. My name is Ryan, and on today's video, I want to show you guys, if you're using this style of mechanical timer on your Homestead, why you should consider switching to this style of timer. I decided to make the video because this is a homesteading channel, and you know what? We use about, I don't know, 5 to 10 of these things on our homestead. And anything from chicken lights for artificial light when the days are short. We have these timers for predator lights. I have a timer like this in my barn. There's a fan in there for circulation, and it says it needs 30 minutes of rest every 2 hours. So I use it for that. I know a lot of you guys, I see y'all using them all the time for heat lamps and heaters and I mean all kind of stuff out in the barn. If you guys are fortunate enough to have Wi-Fi wherever you need a timer, whether it's your barn or whatever, I would probably stick with smart plugs. With living out in the country, you know, our electric, I would say it's good. I would never say it was bad, but there's little blips of electric all the time. I mean, we come home from work and the microwave will be reset. You know, and you can tell the power had went out that day for a couple minutes or whatever. The problem is 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there, another 5 minutes there, an hour there, whatever. These things get off. Not to mention daylight savings time that's coming up. Number one, we have a lot of these timers in use. And then number two, a lot of them are like in the chicken coop and different things where it's not just super easy to access. And two of them that we currently have, you have to get on all fours and crawl down in a little area to reset every time something happens with the power, daylight savings time or whatever. And it's a huge pain in the butt. I was trying to figure out a way to make these a lot more frustration free. And I basically got on the internet, did some research, and found these timers here. I want to go over the absolute best reason why I love this timer. But let's just replicate the power going out, okay? Watch this. Boom. This thing has a battery backup. There's others out there that have battery backup. This isn't the only one. I'm not saying that, but this is gonna solve so much frustration. I can also tell you, I've had one where I'd plugged it in like overnight or whatever, and then I unplugged it, left it on my kitchen table for like 2 weeks, and it still had power. So, what that means is, you are never gonna lose your settings with this thing. Number two reason why I think this specific timer is awesome is because of the price. And I think, before I get into that, I need to tell you what the actual timer is. So, this timer is from Amazon, and it's called a NEARPOW, N-E-A-R-P-O-W. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly. I'll give you guys a good look at the box here. But they come in a 2-pack, and it's about $20 for a 2-pack. I will say, I got on Lowe's and Home Depot website, and I priced out the mechanical timers from there. And most of what I found were in between $7 and $12. With these timers here, these mechanical ones, especially the super cheap ones, are only 2-prong plugs, okay? And where you plug it in, and then it's also, you know, an outlet of 2 prongs. This timer is a grounded 3-prong plug, and it has an outlet on each side of it. 3-prong outlet. So I'm outside now. It's raining, so I don't want to be out here too long, but I'm out here at my chicken coop. This is the one that we're getting ready to put into service. I just got to prepare the site that it's going to and that kind of thing. But I want to show you why having the 2 outlets is important, not just for the fact that you can run 2 things if you wanted to. That's one. But the other one is, got the light here, and this is the door frame, and the plug, the outlet that I put in is up here. And you can see I have a timer in here now. The issue is, and why I really like this design with the 2 outlets, is because this light, there's a post over here. So if this just had 1 outlet and it was on this side over here, I would never be able to plug anything up to it because it's up against this post. See that? The other cool thing about these timers is, you know, there's other digital timers out there like this that have a battery backup and all of that. But a lot of them are so big and they come down and stuff, they take up the whole entire receptacle, both plugs, even though they're actually only plugged into one. This one, being this shape, you still have access to this plug right here. This thing has a lock button. So what that means, you see that little lock there? You can press this thing and do whatever, and it will not change anything. Why is that important? Well, it's mainly on there for kids or accidental pushes of the button when you plug this thing into the wall or whatever. With our old timer, I've actually had chickens, and you can see it, peck this thing, because some of these that we have are in range of where chickens can kind of get to. I've had them peck these little tabs that set your time, and you know, I'll randomly have like a 15-minute, half-hour period where it's off and then back on just because they peck these little tabs. So with these timers, you kind of always get gear noise. And even though they don't turn fast at all, I can't even see them turn, you know, you can hear the gears in here turning. And, you know, in a chicken coop it's not important, but we have a couple of these in our house actually, and believe it or not, you don't notice that you can notice this until you take this out and replace it with this totally silent timer. These timers know what day of the week it is. So when you set your time up initially, not only do you set the time of day it is, so like right now it's 2:20, but you also set what day of the week it is. So like today's Saturday. I don't know if you can see that SA there. But the cool thing with that, each day has its own time on off settings that you can do. So you can go through and have Monday through Saturday operate your lights or whatever you have that you want, operate it normally. And then on Sunday, you can have it totally off. So you can really dial in what you want with this. With the old mechanical types, this is just a 24-hour timer. It doesn't know what day it is, it doesn't know anything. This has an easy daylight savings time feature on it. Now it doesn't automatically do it and have the calendar built into it and all of that, but it does have a quick feature. So see, it's 2:22 right now, and if you see, if I hit the minute and second buttons together, it says 1 hour right there. So every spring, if you're in a state that observes it, you're going to spring forward an hour. So it's 2:22. If I hit these two together, 3:22. All right. Come fall, when we fall back, just walk up to the timer, hit these two buttons. Now it goes back to 2:22. With this timer, you've got to rotate, you've got to do all of that, and it's a pain in the butt. And then you got to make sure, you kind of got to look at it down here like this and make sure it's lined up good and get it accurate. Speaking of accuracy, this timer, when you go in and do it, I'm pretty certain you can set it to the second, but definitely the minute. So I'm pretty certain the second though, but you go through and you set it and get the time dead on, okay? With this timer, you're trying to line that little arrow up with kind of the time here, and there's some play in there anyways. So these timers here, the best I could really ever get them accurate to was about 10 minutes. One of the other things with this timer, and I don't want to do it, I don't even remember how to do it actually, but if you prefer military time, 24-hour time, this thing will do it. So the last cool thing that I wanted to talk about this timer was it has what's called a random function on it. That's what this RAN stands for. If you were to click these two buttons together, it would enable that feature. Say you have this in your house, like on a lamp, and you want to make your house look lived in while you're away on vacation. This thing will just randomly, in that setting, turn the light on and off at all different hours to make it look, you know, not so structured to where every day at 9 p.m. or something, the lamp comes on. So I just listed off a bunch of pros, but it wouldn't be fair of me to do a review on this timer and talk about how cool it is without at least mentioning a couple things that I think could be improved. I mentioned that it was cool that you could still use this outlet. You could plug an extension cord into here, whatever. The timer doesn't take up both outlets. I think that's super cool. There's kind of something that I think they could improve upon and make it amazing, and that is if you could take two timers and stack them and plug them up on the same single receptacle. The bummer part of it is they're only lacking, I mean, millimeters. I mean, if I wanted to force it, I probably could, But see, this one is starting to go down, and this one is almost going in. So the only other product improvement that I could think of on this is, yes, it has 2 outlets. I mentioned that. But whatever your settings are here, both outlets are going to be those settings. It would be really cool if it was this exact same design, but you could control each outlet independently of each other with separate timer settings. I think at least battery backup timers have been out for probably many years. I know several years, and I just, never really knew about them. So if I would have known this 10 years ago when we started our homestead, this would have saved me a lot of frustration over these that you see everywhere. So I hope you found something of value out of this video. And on that note, guys, we will see you again next time here on Skyline Acres.